Okay, space engineers, this is a tutorial about starting on Pertam. We are going to drop in a survival pod, probably somewhere close to some other engineers, since this is a private server with other people playing on it. There are a lot of mods, most of which we are going to ignore. There are some game settings I will talk about. But basically this is a how do you start space engineers tutorial. How do you begin? The game presents you with some problems that if you have never played the game before and don't know how it works, might be fairly difficult to solve. Because you can't build a lot of things when the game starts and you drop in a survival pod. The survival kit has a very limited number of things that it can build. So one of the first things that you have to do, other than find resources, is get yourself a basic assembler somehow. So I'm going to join the faction. This is the common faction for all the people playing. And we're going to start on Pertam in a drop pod. So that faction safe zone message, that's a mod. So we're gonna kind of ignore that. This is how you start off. Man, that parachute opened just barely in time. One of the other players is on the server. Kev me up. We'll see if I interact with him or not today. So I just hit F to hop out of the seat here on my survival pod. The V key changes your view. The Alt key allows you to change your view orientation, and the scrolling allows you to zoom in and out. So this is the basic starting unit. It has a survival kit, this thing with a screen, good sized battery, a seat, which is not a command seat, which means you can't actually fly ships from this seat, and this light here is covering up the O2 generator. We also have an ore detector and antenna. Parachute we no longer need. These thrusters that we're going to do something with, and a bunch of landing gears we don't need. Okay, so we spawned, we landed, we're here, we have a survival kit now. The survival kit can build things. You hit K to go into the menu on any block, so when it's highlighted in yellow like that, you can hit I or K. I will bring up the inventory if the block does that. And K will bring up the control panel, which lets you access all of the blocks on the grid. So these are all of the blocks on the grid that you can do stuff with that have things on the interface here, the terminal. Well, if we want to look at what the survival kit can make, we go over to production. Say, okay, computers, components, displays, girders, interior plates, steel plates, solar cells, and motors. Okay. These are important building blocks. However, we would like to get this thing on the move, and in order to do that, we would need to put either some wheels on it, or we need to change the thruster configuration and get some kind of cockpit on it. As you can see, there's different wheel sizes. And it doesn't really matter what size wheel we choose, we still need to have small steel tubes, which we can't make. So unless we can find some, we're not going to be able to put wheels on here until we make a basic assembly. So let's see here. Can we find some? You start the game with basic tools, which is what I have here, and they are slow and painful, so as soon as possible you will want to upgrade. And we have some conveying and stuff in here. Okay, so I need to get rid of the front of this so that I can get access to things, because my character can't fit in here well enough for me to select. So I'm going to get the grinder out. And you can tell this is slow and painful because it's the basic tools. I'm just going to clear all this out of here. Now, when you do this, you get the components back because this is vanilla. So in my inventory now, if I hit I, you can see I have 18 steel plates. Now, I still can't get in here. Okay, C crouches. So there's a timer block on here. Okay, we don't really care. A small cargo container, which I don't know if that's hooked up to anything or not. Doesn't have what we need. We've got one. None of these conveyor tubes have what we need. What about the parachute? It has a small steel tube. Okay, that's one wheel. We need two to get a wheel, so that's not even enough for one wheel. The game has a mode called progression where you don't know how to build all the blocks at first. I recommend that you don't play that way because I don't think it adds anything of value to the game. There's another small steel tube in my beacon. So that's two small steel tubes. So I can make one wheel. Right, just one. Yeah. There's some MES mods in the game right now, and there are enemy ships flying around. So hopefully none of them will come and murder us while we're doing our tutorial, so we'll see. So we don't really have anything to build wheels. We can, as you've seen, reuse parts. So we have thrusters. So we don't need all four of these thrusters to lift, and we don't need this chair. So we need to find some resources because all we have around here is stone, and stone doesn't give you a lot of stuff. So if we just get our drill out, crouch, if we right click, it digs big holes in the ground. If we left click, it fills up our inventory with the stones. Now, if we weren't running mods, we would have to pick up all those little rocks that are being generated by the digging in order to get them in our inventory, which is another point. The inventory is 4,000 liters. The standard Space Engineer's inventory is 1,200 liters, which makes more sense, although it is still insane, that a person could carry that. I do not like to play the game this way because it's, if you just want to get a lot of stuff done and you don't have any time and you don't actually care about solving the game's basic engineering problems, then fine. Have a big inventory like this. But this game is about solving engineering problems. And so, I like to have a regular size inventory so that I am actually solving a bunch of engineering problems to build the other things that I want to build. For me, this is a game about building the thing so that you can build the thing. So I'm just going to get an inventory load worth of stone here just to show you how the survival kit does its thing. We may need some of these items because I'm going to change out the seat that we have for a cockpit, something we can fly with. You can put a remote control on there if you want, but I just like having a cockpit, I guess. You can sit in it, you can get oxygen from it. It's nice. So I've dug quite a big hole here. I have a lot of stone in my inventory. It's more than you could normally carry. So I'm going to put it up here in the survival kit. And you can see it can only hold so much. Now, one of the special things the survival kit can do is make ingots. So you can make ingots from stone. So we want to queue up a bunch of ingots. So the way to do 1,000 at once instead of just like one is to hit Control and Shift. The way you do 100 at once is by hitting Shift, and the way you do 10 at once is by hitting Control. So it's using stone to make gravel, iron ingots, nickel ingots, and silicon wafers. These can be used by the survival kit to make other components that you might need. Let's give it some more stone. Okay. So we want to put a control seat in here, a cockpit, something we can command from. So let's remove this. We'll get some parts out of this, which is great. Oh, it had stuff in it. Right. So it had gun, ammo. Okay. Don't need that. Conveyor. Oh, Gav's dying. So this needs to be a different tube so I can hook the fighter cockpit, or the cockpit, up to the oxygen in the system. So we're going to change that out. I like to use the third menu for conveyors. So I'm going to grab the conveyor box. You hit G to pull up this menu, and then there's a gazillion blocks. So you need to kind of know what you're looking for. It takes a long time to play this game. Learn everything. So I'm going to put some of these basic blocks down here. These are modded blocks. I'm not going to be using them, so we're just going to ignore them. All those MK blocks. Now, let's see. We need T-junction. And the cheaper one is this one, so that's the one that I want to use. Okay. So I'm going to hit G. I'm going to select cockpit. So this is the one that I'm going to use. We are not going to be able to make the bulletproof glass, but we're going to have or be able to make everything else. Sometimes block placement can be difficult because the block needs something, and this is okay. So for my 2 menu, I normally put my armor blocks in here, and I always put them in the same place because it helps me remember things. So that's a number 1. That's a number 2. For each one of these selections, there are a lot of different options. So to me, these are all number 2s. That's how I keep track of things. Number 3s. Number 4s. There are light and heavy versions of all the different armor blocks. So you have to pay attention to which one you're grabbing because the weights and costs of the different blocks are very different. So number 5s. These are number 6s. So that's setting that menu up. Let's go back and put the cockpit in. I usually use menu 1 for just whatever we're going to put in here. So I'm putting it in like this because it has a small conveyor port on the back. So that will hook up to the conveyor we just put in there. Now, we have everything but the displays and the computers and the glass. So there's a trick here with the game. If you right click, it puts it into your build menu. So it's the G key. This is the build menu. This is the build planner. So this is like, it's the game remembering things for you. So if I go over here, so let's go over here to cargo access and hit shift left, shift middle mouse button. So shift middle mouse button puts everything in your build planner into production. Let's look at the production here. It's making the computers. It already made the displays, and it said 1 could not be put to production. Well, it couldn't put the 30 glass plates that I need to production because this can't make them. So we are making those parts, and then we can middle mouse button, and it withdraws everything in your build planner that it can. So now my inventory has the displays and computers that I need. Now, you can see I can't finish it, but it's functional, which means we can get into it and use it. So now that this is an actual command seat, we have an actual hotbar down here, just like our character does. So if you hit the period keys, it changes between the different hotbar menus you have. Each one of these menus has 10 different options, so you essentially have 90 different hotkeys you can set up to grab. These are for grabbing different blocks with your engineer, but on this grid they are to control things. So like we could turn the ore detector on and off, for example. So we'll just put it down here and we'll say toggle on off. Right now it's on, now it's off. Let's hit the control menu, K, and look at the ore detector. So it has a range that's bigger than this, so we're going to increase the range. This is not a vanilla range. basic ore detector only has a range of 150 meters. So I'm going to set it to that because I'm trying to do a vanilla tutorial. So I'm going to hit Control left mouse button. That brings up the menu that allows you to just enter a value. So that's what the base game does. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So we need to look around. We need to get out of here and go find ore. So ore is delineated by markers, different colorations on the ground. And in order to do that, we can fly around with our jetpack and our drill out. It has a small detection range. Or we can modify our drop pod, which is what we're going to do, because we want to fly this over to a place where there are some resources and set it down there to start building a little base. So we're going to need this. We need these metal grids. So I'm taking 2 of these off of here. Definitely don't need them. I know also that I don't need there's a block under here that I very much would like to get. I'm going to turn my jetpack on and rotate so I can come in here and get at it. And oh man. So I'm going to grind off this landing gear, which is broken. There, that thruster. That is a hydrogen thruster, and it has 4 metal grids in it, which we need. So let's get rid of this. Okay. So now we should have components to make some thrusters. So let's do some flat nose. The different kinds of atmospheric thrusters. These are very cheap. So we're going to use these. I'm going to put directional thrust on because we already can go up. So I'm going to put these here, here, and here. Now let's weld up what we can. Definitely have the grids.
Fuel low.
We're running out of jetpack fuel, so I'm going to turn it off.
Fuel critical.
Okay, so I need more fuel, so I can get it from the survival kit because we have an O2 generator hooked up. And O2 generator has ice in it. That ice is being converted by the generator into hydrogen. So what else do we need? We need a gyro so that we can control this thing. A gyro allows you to control the yaw, pitch, and roll of a grid. So I'm going to put a gyro in here. Okay. So the front of the gyro is the one with 2 dots. Doesn't really matter for the most part unless you're going to use the override control. So we're missing something we need here. We need a large steel tube. We can either take it from here, or we can take it from our O2 generator here. We're going to take it from the O2 generator. I want to label this particular flapmo as the reverse thrust. I want to know which one it is so I can turn it off. So I'm going to do that to it so that we can identify it in the menu. So that's the one that is the reverse thrust. Okay, so we're going to set our menu up here. We need to control some things about this ship. So I need to control the thrusters. So let's put all the thrusters in a group. So let's go to the K menu and grab all the thrusters. And some of them are hidden. So we're going to call these thrusters. Thrusters. Save. This thrust multiplier, this is a mod. This is not a mod that I am interested in playing with, but it is here on the server. So I'm just pointing out to you that this is not part of the vanilla game. So let's get up here and prepare that. Okay. Now, let's see, let's get our hotbar set up. So we're going to go groups because we made a thruster group. We want to deal with all of them at once. And it has this funny icon because they're different kinds of blocks in the same group. So it's going to be an on-off. And then we're going to have the reverse thrust, which should be this one, right? Yeah, this one. This one can be on-off. Some of them are on and some of them are off. So we're going to go into the K menu. I know that these are off, and I know that these are on. So these we're going to turn off. Now they're all in the same state. That's kind of important. Okay, so we are ready to rock and roll. Let's deal with these landing gear though. We don't need all these, and they're locked right now. That's what a green symbol means. Those landing gear are locked, so we can't move anywhere with the landing gear like that. So I'm going to go into the menu and put all the landing gear. Something is named wrong, perhaps? The other landing gear is not on the grid? Oh, it's not on the grid. It's locked to the ground, but it's not connected to the ship anymore because I ground that block out. So let's just get rid of it. Take those parts. It's going to make life easier. Alright. Press F to get back in the cockpit. Landing gear. Landing gears. Okay, let's get that on our menu. Groups. Landing gears. Switch lock. And auto lock on off. That's whether or not they automatically lock. So right now auto lock is on. So let's turn auto lock off. Unlock them. We'll lock them. Unlock them. Lock them. Unlock them. Turn on auto lock. Locks them. Now we're going to unlock. Auto lock locks them again. That's what auto lock's for. Ooh, and we have an unknown signal. So I'm going to go get that unknown signal. And that is the end of this episode. Next episode, we are going to fly our survival pod and look for some resources. We can still see our respawn pod. We can still see it. 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 It's behind us. Oh, and I'm going to run out of hydrogen.
Fuel low.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Health critical.
I guess we're going to run. I'm going to do a lot of running.
Fuel critical.
So, I didn't check my hydrogen before I came out here. That was a mistake. And then I slammed into the ground and almost died, so we almost got a quick trip back to the survival pod. But since we're here, it's a couple kilometers run, which as you can see is very painful. It's several kilometers run back to the survival pod. Which, since I can see that beacon, I'm wondering if maybe its range is too far because we have enemies in the game. Okay, so these have goodies, and they have a button. The button is where the little signal comes from. We got a leopard suit. Oh, wow. Okay, pretty useless. Turn our lights on. That's L. Just gonna shove that over. What do we have inside? Ooh, space credits and motors. Oh, that's useful. Let's grind all this down so we can take the resources back. And then let's run back. Oh my god, this is a long-ass run. One of the things that is awesome about this game is the ability to mod it so much, because ultimately Space Engineers is a framework. It's like a game framework. And you can make other blocks, you can write code, you can make planets, do all kinds of things to mod the game. I would say that most people who play this game, that to the right there is an ore patch. That's an ore patch. So what does our drill say this is? Tabbed at the HUD up. This says iron. Well, iron is nice. So I'm going to make a GPS. So hit enter to pull up the chat menu. And then to make a GPS, just type /GPS. And then you type whatever you want it to be. So for me, this is going to be Pertam iron. Okay, keep on running. We're just slowly healing. Okay, that's a setting, I guess. Definitely getting cardio in for the day. That is for sure. Okay, we made it back to the survival pod. Next episode, we're going to fly this thing over to that iron patch, and we are going to set up a power connection for this survival pod. I hope you found this helpful. And don't forget your towel.